The society and the educational system of today prepare us to be a specialist. Either you are a doctor, or a mathematician, or an artist. Hardly, though not impossible, you will find someone with more than one college degree, especially in different areas of knowledge. However, in the 16th century, this was not the case. As a matter of fact, if you were dedicated only to one specialty, you were kind of average and not interesting at all. During the Renaissance, we find architects who also painted and sculpted masterpieces, such as Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. They were complete artists. We can say that Giorgio Vasari belongs to that exclusive group. He was a painter, architect, art historian, and a writer. But please, before we continue, hit the like button, subscribe, and activate the bell for notifications. Vasari was born in Arezzo, a small town located 80 kilometers southeast of Florence, in 1511. His very name linked him to art. Vasari comes from the Italian word vassaio, meaning pottery. In fact, his family had a long history of artisans. One of his ancestors, Lazzaro Vasari, was included on his vitae as a painter. When he was young, Giorgio Vasari was the apprentice of the French glassworker Guillaume de Marcillat, famous for his work of stained glass for the Cathedral of Arezzo. Vasari later moved to Florence, where he learned from Michelangelo, and in 1529 moved again, this time to Rome. He studied more paintings and techniques of the great masters by copying his works. Vasari was an ambitious man. He knew very well he needed powerful people to get what he wanted. That's why he worked with for rich Florentine nobles such as Ottaviano de' Medicis and Bindo Altoviti. Nonetheless, Vasari kept moving from city to city receiving commissions. In the 1540s, Pope Paul III chose him to paint the frescoes of the Palazzo della Cancelleria. During that decade, he returned to Florence, where he became indispensable for the Medici family. He was entrusted with the frescoes of the family's palace. He designed the ornamentation for the wedding of Francesco I, the Medici, and Joanna of Austria. He decorated the interior of Brunelleschi dome. Vasari also was in charge of building a corridor between the Palazzo Vecchio and the Palazzo Pitti, known today as the Vasari Corridor, which goes above the well-known Ponte Vecchio. Probably more importantly for him was the task of organizing the funerary ceremonies for Michelangelo. Vasari loved him. He referred to him as the greatest artistic genius of all times in the chapter dedicated to the author of The Last Judgment. It is perhaps this admiration that led him to follow the Mannerist style, although his work will never achieve the level of his great master. Actually, as it so often happens when one wants to do more than one thing, his development in the various areas of knowledge was unequal, leaving painting behind his written records. Without a doubt, his masterpiece and the reason why he is so important in art history is his series of biographies titled Le vite dei più eccellenti pittori, scultori e architettori, Italian for Lives of the Most Excellent Painters, Sculptors, and Architects. It was published in 1550 and became one of the most influential books in art history, as perhaps the oldest book in the matter. However, we cannot forget that this is a highly partial recollection of the artist of the time. Indeed, he shows a clear preference for the Florentine art, ignoring Venetian style as well as other parts in Europe. Furthermore, his account of the lives of the artist included can't be completely trusted. Many anecdotes are misplaced, and there is a lot of gossip that amuses the readers. Regardless of his inability to be objective, Vasari's lives are a fundamental part of the literature of art history. In a way, it let us see the Renaissance through the eyes of an artist more than from a biographer. It is quite understandable why his writings were and are still so popular. At the end of the day, who doesn't enjoy celebrity gossip?